Hello, Faith Leader, and welcome to Breaktime. Today, Psalm 8:2 says, "Through the praise of children and infants, you have established a stronghold against your enemies, to silence the foe and the avenger." Did you hear what David said? Through the praise of children and infants. Now, David was known for the story of David and Goliath, for his victory over Goliath. And I can't help but imagine, now I'm going to use this word a lot, imagination, when it comes to praising God. Isn't it amazing how David imagined Goliath conquered? It wasn't that David had to even give it a lot of thought. He knew what God said, that he would be with him. He understood the power of God as living through him as his vessel. And as a child, he walked out and defeated Goliath as a young man. Now, he was being mocked even by his brothers, even by his siblings. He was being mocked for I think they thought, this kid is out of his mind. There's no way. And, they couldn't even begin to imagine that God would use this source, David, to conquer this giant. And oftentimes I wonder, when God penned that, unless you become like a child, I often think of that because I think, what is it that a child has that sometimes I walk away from? Here's one thing, and I think David is really pointing it out here, an imagination. Children are the greatest people when it comes to using their imaginations. When I was a child, I used to take 2 bales of straw, place them on top of each other with my friend Anna, and we would put the wire that held the bales together as our reins. And man, we would get on top of those 2 bales of hay and we would ride for hours. We would imagine that we were entering into places that these imaginary horses were going. Could it be that when it comes to our faith, we fail to imagine what God could do with us if we allowed him to have our imagination? I think imagination is one of the greatest places where faith exists, because if we can't see it, then we have to imagine it. And so right there, faith isn't something we see, but right there in the midst of faith, it lies our imagination. And it says, imagine what God can do with you if there were no restraints on anything in you that's keeping you, holding you back. Maybe it's words that people have spoken. David walked past the words. Maybe it's things people have done to you. David walked past what people had done to him. He walked past those things and into this place where we call faith, into this place where you can get past the voices of the naysayers of life. You can get past all of that and look into this imagined place of what God could do, because he says he can do immeasurably more than all we could ever imagine, according to the power that's at work within you and in me. And that same power is the power that resurrected our Lord from the dead. The only person that is keeping you back from working into that imagined place, working into that faith place, is yourself. That's it. You can't use the excuses of anything else other than, man, I got to get past this. And the way to get past that is to walk into this place we call imagine. Imagine what God could do. Because Scripture clearly states, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. All things.